YouTubers, Mike Martin's here, Mike Martin's channel. Thanks for joining me. Housing in all main New Zealand markets now severely unaffordable. We've been covering New Zealand for a couple of years now on my channel, and we've been covering, just go back to my channel, look under search, and you'll see a ton of New Zealand stories. Been covering New Zealand, Australia, the United Kingdom. Every English-speaking country is feeling this pinch, and affordability is going right out the window. Middle class disappearing, and working poor migrating to other smaller cities to try and make a go of it. So, here it is. One of the least affordable. So, here's the top least affordable countries, English-speaking countries, okay? So, now, there's a benchmark that goes across. You know, there's a lot of cheaper areas and in Australia that bring down the benchmark across. Like, China, Hong Kong is like almost like a municipality, so it's a small city, so it's very dense. So, it's very easy to put it in first place. But when you get places like, for example, like the United States, where the average benchmark price of a house is still in around $2 to $225 for a decent house. Mind you, you got San Francisco and all those other cities, and New York and King County, Seattle, and Oregon, Portland, the whole West Coast, pretty much propping up the market across the board. Now, if they were just to put to California here, you would just see it go right up. But unfortunately, they're getting all the markets. So there's 309 markets, and national housing affordability. China, Hong Kong is in first. Now, who is in second? According to this, it's New Zealand. Look at that, guys. Yep, it's New Zealand, followed very closely by Australia, then followed very closely by the United Kingdom, then followed very closely by Canada, Ireland, and then the United States. So there you have it, folks. All English-speaking countries, and I've been covering this, English-speaking countries are stable when it comes to politics so far. And it is a great place for foreign investors to park their money. And with a stable government, and price of housing that keeps going up, you got nothing to lose. Now, with the massive money not leaving China anymore. Money isn't leaving China with the massive outflows because they put the foreign buyers tax, they put the empty homes tax, they put the this and that. It did deter some investing, but it's cheaper to deal. I mean, it's still cheaper to deal with the government on foreign buyers tax than it is to deal with a loan shark. So if you want to park your money, pay the foreign buyers tax, and that's what they were doing. But now a lot of foreign investors, what's happened is, now with the capital outflows to like nil in China, because China was seeing a runoff on its wealth pretty much in the last 2-3 years. So the government needed to put a stop to that immediately. So now what's happening is you're going to see a lot of these cities, phase 1, pricing was going up. Phase 2, interest rates drop and drop. Try to raise interest rates, drop it again. Phase 3, a lot of the youth starts leaving all the cities, and millennials and even people in their 30s and 40s that just can't afford to get into any market to stabilize and start a family. Then people start holding back on having families, people start holding back on getting married, people start holding back on life. You know, and yeah, then once people start migrating to other smaller cities, that starts manipulating other markets in other housing towns, and that starts bringing up prices, and it looks good on paper. People become wealthy overnight, but a lot of these major cities become empty shells. Now, like Vancouver is a great example. Everyone is leaving Vancouver. I left myself. I know, like I've met 10 people today that moved from Vancouver here in the city of Merritt. Now, what I've noticed, which is really interesting, is that how is Vancouver going to fix this deficit that they were collecting from taxpayers, right? First-time buyers tax, GST, all that stuff. How are they going to cope with it with now sales in decline in Vancouver and property prices in decline? You know what they did to fix the problem? Send an assessment and say your house is worth like 20% more than its value, and then raise property taxes. Woo! That's how you do it. That's how you pay back your deficits. Send a note of assessment, a property assessment, make people wealthy on paper, make them feel they're wealthy. Meanwhile, housing is declining in price, and the price of housing is, the amount of listings is going through the roof. Anyways, guys, remember, I went through all this 2006, 2007 in Miami Beach, Florida. I saw it all. I saw it from the beginning right to the end. And I saw the pain a lot of people went through, and it was very sad. But the government's getting smart. Raise the assessment values on properties through the roof. Raise the property taxes, and we covered this on Trends in the Housing Market last two Wednesdays ago, where we're talking about property prices going up on commercial buildings and on industrial buildings, and a lot of people are getting laid off because a lot of companies want to sell their buildings before property taxes due. I'm not kidding. That's how bad it's getting. Let me know what you guys think. How are cities going to pay off these deficits of all these people leaving? That's what I want to know. How are they going to pay for their police, hospitals, libraries? What are they going to do to prop that? How are they going to find the funding? That's the question. Because if you don't have the blue-collar and the white-collar workers in your city and everybody is mass exiting, and people are saying, oh, there's a couple of people leaving. What are you talking about, Mike? California's lost 6 million people in the last 6 years. Sydney is in the hundreds of thousands of people that have left. It's actually taking a toll now on the city where garbage men can't even live there and policemen can't even live in Sydney. They have to commute an hour, 2 hours to work. I don't know if you remember that sweepstakes I had on my show where the person that gave us the longest commute to work would win a free gift card, and there was one person from California that commuted like an hour and 40 minutes, 2 hours every day there and 2 hours back. So it does happen. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Comment below, I'd like to know. It's happening to every English-speaking country, and I've been, like, it's like I said, this is a global epidemic, and the reason why it's affecting all English-speaking countries is because it's politically safe right now to park your money in these countries. So, like, in the early 80s, Panama was a country you did not want to put your money in the early 80s. The Caymans right now look a little shaky. So, you know, the Azores, not happening as much, you know. People used to put money away in the Azores. So there's a lot of places, havens, for people to park their money. But they found it a better way to just buy up real estate everywhere, shoot up the price, and it's a win-win situation. But with the price of rents going up, the price of cost of living going up, and wages not even coming anywhere near the cost of living, people are forced to take desperate measures, and it's very sad. I'm with you guys out there. I've been with you guys forever. I did my sacrifice. I left the big city. I sold my company, and I kind of moved to a more simpler life, if that makes any sense. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below.